Windows and mirrors. The Johari window is an incredibly helpful tool for coming to understand and to know yourself. It was devised by Dr. Joseph Luft and Dr. Harrington Ingham. You can kind of hear it in the name Johari window when you combine Joseph and Harrington. Now, this is a relatively simple framework. Visually, it's very simple, but it packs a punch. There's a lot to be learned from it. So here we go. The Johari window has 2 columns and 2 rows that comprise then 4 boxes in the framework. There's what you know about yourself, there's what you don't know about you, there's what others know about you, and there's what others don't know about you. Let's talk through each of the 4 boxes. There is the open self. This is the parts of your personality that you know about you and other people know about you. This is parts of your own story, your history, information about you that's relatively public access. It's relatively low stakes information about ourselves, and that's often what we're willing to share when we're on the train or on the bus, at the bus stop, when we're riding in an Uber together with other people. We often share our open self because it's, like I said, relatively low stakes information. The blind self, though, is what other people know about you, but you don't know about you. The reality is your friends and family and coworkers have all noticed things about your personality and being in relationship with you that they haven't taken the time yet to tell you. Perhaps they talk about it in secret, and it's not necessarily gossip. Maybe they're sharing good things about you that you don't know about you. But that's the blind self. Many of us have parts of our personality in life that we are unaware of ourselves because we don't have that outward stance to be able to watch ourselves. Next up is the hidden self. It's what we know about ourselves, but other people don't know about us. The hidden self is all the information that we maybe feel vulnerable about. This is our precious information. These are things that we want to keep hidden. They could be successes or failures, but relatively it's just things that people don't know about us. One of the most important things in cultivating intimate relationships and friendships with friends, family, coworkers is that we learn to start opening up our hidden self and making those things known, so then we transfer things from our hidden self into our open self. And the reality is, the more we share some of those tidbits of information of the hidden self, other people might relate to it. We can actually connect often through our hidden self. That's often when we start to feel as though we get to know another person deeply, meaningfully. And last up is the unknown self. This is everything that we don't know about ourselves that other people also don't know about ourselves. This relatively harkens back to the conversation with St. Teresa of Avila and in her quote from The Interior Castle. It's a shame that some of us have no idea who we are. And as a result of that, other people often don't know parts of us and who we are. But in a Christian worldview, according to Christian spirituality, God sees all 4 of these boxes equally. God sees this 4th box, though, uniquely, because God sees all, knows all, hears all, and yet still chooses to love freely, deliberately, intentionally, infinitely. And if God can look at that stuff, all the things of the unknown self, and still consider us acceptable, then maybe that grants us the courage to do that self-examination for ourselves, to maybe allow some of that unknown self to shift over into being in the hidden self box because, oh, I know this about me now. Do other people know this about me? Let me share this, what I learned about myself with other people. And so you can kind of see a flow happening that as we grow and as we mature, hopefully the unknown self as a box gets smaller and smaller as it shifts to other boxes and more into the open self, which, as we would call, is the true self. Hopefully, we are always sharing our true self as often as we can. The blind self might actually be part of our shadow. We also could have part of our own shadow or our false self and the hidden self as well. You can kind of see how this starts to overlap, but I have found the Johari window to be incredibly helpful, especially as I deal with young adults and even older adults who still have no idea who they are. Next up, though, let's talk about mirrors. We talked about windows. What do we mean by mirrors? We mean this. Mirrors are people who are able to reflect back to us who we are without judgment. They are people who will neither invade us nor abandon us, but love us truthfully. If you think about standing in front of the mirror is an inanimate object. All it does is objectively reflect back what is in front of it. It doesn't actually see or hear or know or love anything because it's just an inanimate object. It just reflects. But there's a sense in which we all need people who are mirrors, who can stand in front of us and reflect back to us how they see us, experience us, relate to us. So much of learning about our blind self and our unknown self is actually a matter of having people around us who are healthy mirrors. People that will not judge us or shame us or invade us or abandon us for what we got going on. And so being a mirror is a relatively high stakes role to be for other people. But when a friend, when family members, when a spouse, when they choose in covenantal love to be mirrors to one another, to reflect back to each other how they are experienced and how the other person can improve, then you have a relationship that will go far and obviously will help both people to become far more healthy and holy than if they didn't have those healthy mirrors. So let's talk about some questions, okay? Which of the 4 boxes of the Johari window do you believe is the largest for you? Your open self, blind self, hidden self, or unknown self? Why do you think this is? Hopefully, as we age, the shapes of those boxes, the sizes, also change. But which one is the largest for you? Which one is the smallest? And why do you think that is? Perhaps your open self is the smallest. Why is that? Why is it that perhaps your hidden self is the largest box? Most people around you, they only know your name and your occupation and where you live, but you share no personal information. Why is that? It's just a question to explore. 3, who are your mirrors? Who are the people in your life that help reflect back to you how they experience you? People that will neither, like I said, invade or abandon us. And are you able to be a mirror for yourself and or others? When I say for yourself, I mean that difficult task of reflecting over your day. To journal out some of the things so that you can actually observe yourself objectively and neither invade or abandon yourself, but to love yourself truthfully enough that you can reveal things about yourself to yourself. But the more we cultivate that ability, the more helpful we are when we do that for other people. Who are you a mirror for? Who are you helping? Who are you loving enough to tell them truthfully how you experience them? These are just some questions to consider. This has been Windows and Mirrors.